live. Let's wait for some eyeballs to load on up here. We had quite a few people interested in today's topic, which is the website mistakes that are costing you clients. Okay, cool. I'm seeing some eyeballs. If you can see and hear me, will you go ahead and like this video or give me an emoji in the comments, just to make sure we are coming through strong on this Friday today. The reactions and comments are also always a little bit delayed, so if you're doing it right now, excellent. Thank you, Mary Jo, confirming for me. See a couple of those likes. Wonderful. Hi, everyone. Happy Friday to you. I am so excited to be back for another free marketing training all around, as I just mentioned, the website mistakes that are costing you clients. I review quite literally hundreds of practice websites every single year, and I see a lot of the same problems and mistakes happen. And I also see the results that come when those problems are resolved. And so that's what I want to be walking you through here today. Now, if you're joining me live, please do say hello in the comments. Let me know where you're joining from. Always love that because we do these live, we get that little bit of extra interaction. So if as I'm talking and you're listening, you have questions, use the comments to let me know. If you are catching the replay, excellent. I'm really thrilled that you're watching this, whether it's this evening or next year. Go ahead and drop a hashtag replay into the comments, and that will ensure that I see any questions that you might have. I come back to trainings from like 2019 still and answer questions. So I am here to help. Hi, Erica from Denver. Hi from Michigan, UTS Counseling. Mary Jo from Minneapolis. So good to see you guys. Happy Friday. I hope you've had a wonderful week. If this is your first time joining one of these trainings, hi, I'm Anna. I'm really, really happy that you're here. I have the incredible privilege of leading this Get Booked Out community, which, if you ask me, is the best community on the internet. We're over 16,000 therapists strong here, lots of new faces around here. So if you're just sort of getting your feet wet, I'm really glad that you're watching this training because you're going to get a lot of really helpful guidance out of this one. But our goal is that everything we do around here, the trainings, the tips, the feedback, the community and the support is provided in a way that allows you to be successful in your practice in a way that feels really authentic to you. We believe in the work that you do. We believe that you deserve to charge your full fee and meet your income goals, and to also do that in a way that feels good and feels aligned with you and authentic to the person and the clinician that you are. And so that's what we're here. That's what we're all about around here. Now, yet another training here on websites. Why? Because websites are your number one marketing tool. I've actually just seen that happen this week. What's interesting, and you'll hear me talk about websites all the time because they're so powerful. Whatever marketing you're doing in your practice right now, whether you are on social media or maybe you're just getting started and sort of thinking about this, if you're blogging, if you're networking, if you are cold calling doctors' offices, you know what's so interesting is I continue to see that if you improve your website, all of those other things that you're doing, the blogging, the social media, the networking, actually get more effective as well. Because these days, all of your marketing efforts are leading back to your website. So if your website can do its job, everything gets more effective. And I actually saw that with a student this week. She improved her website and saw better results from networking and directories directly just after updating her website. So if you're wondering where to spend your time, your effort, your money, your resources, your website is it. We want to see this convert for you. I don't need to convince you, hopefully, around how important a website is, but what I do want to offer is the insight that I gain from seeing so many different therapy websites and getting to see what works and what doesn't. And that's why we're here, the website mistakes that are costing you clients. So we've got, how many tips do we have, or how many things do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So lots of good ones here, and I really sat with this and tried to make sure that what I was hitting on were the most relevant ones. The last one that I'm going to share, I think, is the number one thing that clinicians forget, but I'm leaving it towards the end because it's kind of probably something you're not totally thinking about right now. So let's focus first on what happened when I land on the website. So actually what's happening there. That's where a lot of these mistakes happen. So the very first mistake that you are making, and the mistake that is ultimately costing you clients, is not communicating a clear niche. If you've been around here for a while, you know that we talk a lot about websites, we talk a lot about niches because we continue to see how important these are in your marketing. Here's the thing, your client has way too many options available to them, especially these days, especially post-pandemic, way too many therapists to choose from, to spend time having to dig through your website to figure out if you're a good fit for them. So if your client can't figure out that you can help solve their specific problem, if they don't immediately know if they are in the right place when they land there, if there are questions in their mind, just out of convenience, they are very likely to be like, I'm just going to go find someone else who's speaking more directly to what I'm struggling with, right? So your niche does not have to be, and if you've been around here for a while, you've heard us talk about this too, that your niche does not have to be only specializing in one specific problem. Oh, all you do is trauma, can't do anything else, or all you do is work with one specific population. You can enjoy so much variety in your practice and still communicate a clear niche. If you have struggled with that and you haven't taken our free niche quiz yet, you are missing out. It's totally free. It's 9 questions, and it will help you put into words what that niche is. walkerstrategyco.com/niche-quiz. But the fact is that if I, as your potential client, cannot land on your website and immediately, I'm talking in the first 5 seconds, know if I am or am not in the right place, if you are forcing me to dig and trying to figure out what your niche is, that is too much work for me. And these days, because I have so many options available to me, I'm probably just going to keep looking. So your niche is so important in that immediate connection because we can lose people just out of convenience if that niche isn't being clearly communicated. So you have a huge opportunity there to make sure that your niche is loud and proud and clear on that website. And the right client can see that they're in the right place, and the wrong fit client can see that they are not. We talk about that as attracting and blessing and releasing. Your website should attract right fit clients and bless and release those who are not the right fit, because you are not the right therapist for every single client, right? There are people that you are not equipped to serve, prefer not to serve, are not well trained to serve, just don't want to serve. That's okay. Those people, your niche should be so clear that those people land here and know this isn't the right place for me, and go and find a clinician who is. We want that for them and for you. And the right fit client is like, yes, I found them. That's the experience we want to create. And that experience starts with clearly communicating that niche. So the lack of clear niche is one of the absolute biggest mistakes that I see happen. And when I am reviewing these websites, that's the first question I'm asking when I land here is, do I know the clinician's niche? Off the top of my head, can I tell what it is? And if not, then we have an opportunity there to be capturing those right fit clients better and more quickly and more efficiently. Excellent. Good to see all you guys. Okay, we got some other, I was there in the zone there, but Leah from North Carolina, Aaron from Ohio, good to see you guys. Looks like some folks even know one another, so that's great. All right, lack of clear niche. So load your website up right now. Do I immediately know what your niche is? Does the right fit client know they're in the right place? And does the not right fit client know they're not? If not, then we have an opportunity to make some improvements. The next mistake that is costing you clients. This is an interesting one that is a little bit more nuanced and something you're going to kind of have to really maybe wade through on your own website. But good copywriting, and copywriting is the content, the words on your website, and they're the ultimate driver in whether or not someone reaches out to you. It's why those words are so critical. There's a balance in good copywriting where we both empathize with what your client is experiencing, right? Because they are here motivated by a struggle or a challenge, and like solution and transformation and resolution. So in copy, we have to speak to both of those things. We have to display empathy and we have to provide solution. We have to cast vision about what's possible, because your client is both motivated by their problems and also motivated by the potential for relief. So one of the biggest mistakes that I see clinicians make is they are too heavy in one of those buckets. You either land on their website and it is all doom and freaking gloom. It is just all problems. It is, are you feeling XYZ? Do you struggle with XYZ? Just hammering people with these painful questions and pictures of people with their head in their hands. And it's this like very, very sad problem-centric website where I'm like, yeah, I am feeling that way, but I don't want to be anymore. And so there's way too much problem emphasis in their copy where the client is like, I don't even see how there's a way out of this. Like maybe the therapist can help me, but I'm not seeing how. On the flip side, sometimes I'll land on websites where it's just all sunshine and rainbows. It's all solution. It's all everything's going to be okay. You can do this. I'm here to help you. Your clients need that language, certainly, but they also, they're immediately going to connect with you on the level of empathy, right? Just like you sit down in the room with someone and give them this time and the space to share their story, you ask them what they're struggling with, you display empathy, you validate, you normalize. That also has to happen in your copy. If we do one, or if we do too much of one or the other, we lose out on that powerful part of what's happening for them psychologically. So in marketing, we have to both empathize and provide solution. And when websites lean one way or the other too much, we miss out on that key piece, and the client misses out on the fullness of that connection that happens in good copy. So this is like getting into the psychology of marketing. These are based on very proven marketing frameworks and sales frameworks that are then adapted to therapy. But that is a really big challenge and issue. So read your website, pull your website up. Are you speaking to both? Is there a balance of problem language and solution language, of negative or empathetic language and positive transformation language? Both of those have to be present in order to have that full connection with clients. Otherwise, we leave them really wondering if you have the thing that's not represented there. So we have to have both in your copy. That's another big mistake that I see folks make, and it's in good conscience. People are either trying to really deeply empathize or just really, really cast vision, but then they miss out on that other piece. So too much problem or too much solution can be a really big one that can be a turnoff, quite frankly, for clients. All right, this one you might have heard before, but we just can't overstate it. You are missing out on clients with your website if your website is all about you. If I land on your website and I am greeted by the beautiful logo that you thought hundreds of hours about, and the name of your practice and a picture of you, and hi, I'm Anna, and everything that I like to do and what I'm passionate about and all of my skills, we've missed it. Just like we were talking about in the previous point, how your client is looking for connection, they're looking for empathy, they're looking for the fact that you understand them. If it's all about you, where do they fit? When someone decides to go seeking therapy, it is because they have been living in a level of distress or discomfort for weeks, months, years, decades, and they're finally ready to do something about it. They're here because they're motivated by their problems. And they are very naturally and understandably very self-centered right now. They're very focused on my problems. And if you are not in your marketing and on your website meeting them at that point of need, at the level of their problems, before you get into all of your experience and what you're passionate about, we've again missed connection. That's like one of the cardinal rules of marketing, is that your marketing, your website, your about page, your directory profile isn't about you. It is always about your clients. And so we always want to be leading with you language, talking to the client. Your life doesn't feel the way that you wish it did right now. Like, I feel so seen by that, instead of getting right into my credentials and how long I've been practicing. So when we think about how much you should be sharing on your website about you, you belong on your website. Please hear me. There's a time and a place strategically to share about yourself. But I always think about kind of your website is like an inverted, or I guess not an inverted triangle. The amount that you share about yourself should increase the further I get down the page. So if you've been through one of our programs, the Fill Your Practice Formula or Confident Copy, or you've even just paid attention to the frameworks we teach in this group, we are always going to start with empathizing, and then we're going to start to introduce you, and then we're going to share more about what it's like to work with you. And so we're going to hit and connect on the empathy side, focusing on the clients, and then we're going to kind of earn the right to share more and more about you and why you are an incredible clinician. So please don't hear me that you shouldn't be talking about yourself on your website and in your marketing, but it has to be through the lens of what is important to your client, and it has to be after meeting your client at their point of need, which is their problems. So if you're talking too much about yourself, both on your directory profiles, on your website, your social media, whatever, you can apply this to any of your marketing, then we are missing out on those folks, because that is not the number one priority that they have in mind when they are seeking out therapy. So talking too much about yourself is a really, really big one. All right, we're about almost halfway through our list here. Again, if you have questions, please feel free to drop those into the comments as we're going along. All right, the next one. This is something I probably talk to a clinician about this once a week or thereabouts. You are missing out on clients, believe it or not, if you don't have enough content on your website. Now, that's for a couple of reasons. One, SEO. You have heard about search engine optimization, which is making your website friendly to Google and helping you increase the likelihood of showing up in search results. Google is looking to serve up the most authoritative and trustworthy websites when someone goes looking for your services. So if you offer therapy for children, Google wants to serve up websites when your client goes typing in therapy for children that are trustworthy, that know what they're talking about, that display authority. You can't do that. You can't prove that to Google if there's not enough content on that page. So if you are trying to show up in results for a variety of different specialties across all of the different kind of focus areas of your practice, you are going to struggle to show up in results if there isn't enough there. So from an SEO perspective, it's just like we got to have content on there. But we continue to see the fact, and Confident Copy students hear me say this almost on a weekly basis, that clients will read long copy, they just won't read boring copy. People are used to scrolling, they are used to scanning. Are they going to read every single word on your page? Nope. But are they looking for enough to sink their teeth into and to get this well-rounded picture of what it's like to work with you? Yes. So I'll often hear from clinicians, well, I just want a clean, simple website. I don't want it to, be cluttered. I don't want your website to be cluttered either, but there has to be enough there that you are able to form that connection. That's what I hope you're sort of hearing from me as a theme here, that your website is an opportunity to establish relationship and connection before you even get on the phone with someone. When done correctly, you get those phone calls that say, hey, I already know you're the therapist for me, or hey, I read your website and it felt like you're speaking right to me. Those things don't happen if we aren't able to provide a well-rounded picture of what it's like to work with you. So when I land on a website and it is, again, just maybe your logo, your practice name, a little hi, this is what I do, and some bullets of the different types of specialties that you offer, and that's it, we are missing out on clients. This is one of the reasons that the Simple Practice website extension is better than nothing. Hear me when I say that, but is likely stunting your marketing, because that page that Simple Practice offers you simply can't do the job. It can't lift the weight and carry the weight of that connection and of your marketing in a single page. So oftentimes that's one of the biggest mistakes I see folks make, is there's just not enough there. If they gave themselves the opportunity to share more and presented it in a good way on their website, clients would actually feel that connection and foster that connection through the journey of the website, instead of it being this 10-second experience where all I have is 10 seconds to know if I'm in the right place. Imagine if I had minutes, if I could go to different pages. That is strengthening that trust, that know, like, trust factor that your clients need in order to decide that you're the therapist for them. So sometimes it's just a matter of saying more. Please don't shy away from including copy and writing sufficient length copy on your website. I regularly coach Confident Copy students. I actually just released a free bonus in the program on how to format long copy, because sometimes that's the biggest question, is like, all right, I wrote this big chunk of copy, what do I do with it? So I filmed a training for them. But you can be so effective with hundreds of words per page. You should have hundreds of words per page. So hear me, that if you have had this like aversion to writing too much on your website, let that go, because it's actually a huge opportunity for you, not just in the SEO land and ranking on Google, but also in connecting with those clients. So not enough content can be a really big piece. I've got a couple questions here. I'm going to pause. Allie said RE mistake number 3, which is talking too much about yourself. Making the website too much yourself. Do you recommend including a photo of yourself on both the homepage and the about page, or just in the about page? Allie, thank you for that question. What a good contrast to don't talk too much about yourself. Yes, please include a headshot of yourself on both your home and your about. At the very least, that is what we would recommend. So on that section of your homepage, which in our frameworks, that's going to be about middle of the way through the homepage, have a picture of yourself there. Hi, I'm Allie, paired with your picture, definitely, and then at least one on your about page as well. Rachel said, any recommendations for group practices where therapists may have different niches? How can you communicate this effectively? Rachel, you're in luck. I have a training called How to Niche Your Group Practice, and I will tag you in this after this training. I think you'll find that really useful. Leah, do you have any quick tips for formatting long copy? I do, Leah, and because I just filmed that bonus. One of the biggest things that we recommend prior to getting into your website and designing long copy is making sure that it's formatted well in a document. So just like in a text document, using things like bullets, bolding, horizontal lines, side-by-side layouts. If you use one of our Squarespace templates you've likely seen that we're big fans of what's called the accordion block. That's where you can expand and collapse sections of copy. So sometimes it's about segmenting long bits of copy into different sections and presenting them in an accordion, because we're showing less copy at a time, but there's still sufficient, information there that people can engage with. So those are a couple tips that you can take away there. Alrighty, let's get back into it. We've got 3 left. Another thing that you're missing out that might be causing you to miss out on clients is a no-brainer. Like, you can fix this today. I will regularly land on a clinician's website where maybe they're doing a good job of forming connection, and I do know their niche, but I don't know what the heck to do. This is like I call this like poor calls to action or poor process. So a couple mistakes can happen here. One, you're just not telling people what to do. And some people feel pushy. I've heard that from clinicians before. I don't want to be pushy with my website by including like buttons. We love a good schedule free consult button throughout your website. If you've seen our templates, you know that too. I've heard clinicians be like, well, they know what to do. I don't want to be pushy. Your client is here because they're looking for help. We are not serving them well if we don't show them how to get that help. So there should be at least 3 calls to action on every page of your website. That's a pretty standard one. That call to action must also be clear. I was just having this discussion with someone in Confident Copy this week. They are kind of on the fence of going direct to booking an appointment or having a free consult. And you both can work. About 95% of our students and clients do offer a consult, but not everyone does. And that's up to you. You're the business owner. You can decide that. Where the issue comes is when you don't know which one you want. And so someone gets to your contact page and they're told to either book an appointment or schedule a consult. Or I had this with a student last week. Some buttons on their website led to a consult form, others led to a contact form. And so depending on which button I pushed, I was led to a different place that had a different process. Here's the thing. When someone reaches the contact page of your website, when someone is interested enough to click a button, they have so much momentum. They are ready. They're as ready as they're going to be to reach out to you. If we impede that momentum, if we slow them down or make it difficult, we are raising the barrier that they have to cross to reach out to you. This should be like a greased slide. It should be so easy and simple. I should know exactly what's going to happen, that I can just go ahead and take advantage of that momentum. When I push that button, zoom right into what I need to do. So if there are any parts of that process of reaching out to you that are unclear, that require too much thought of your client, we might be missing out on them just right there. For some clinicians, that has meant that they've shifted to self-scheduling. This is an anecdote, but I have actually chosen a clinician because I was able to self-schedule a consult. My schedule is very, very, very defined. I have only X amount of time. I wasn't interested in phone tag. And I chose a clinician because I could just get on their calendar. That's not to say that you have to do self-scheduling if you don't want to, but ask yourself, is this process clear? Is there any way I can make it easier on my clients to get in touch with me, to get on my calendar, to do whatever that first step is? And is that first step immediately clear as I make my way through the website? Am I offering that next step often enough? What if I'm smack dab in the middle of your about page and I'm like, oh, this is it. I'm ready. Is there a way for me to go ahead and capitalize on that momentum? So please don't shy away from inviting people to take the next step. And please make sure that that next step is clear, that we are not impeding that progress or asking your clients to make decisions at the point where they've already made the biggest decision, that they want to reach out to you. Capitalize on that. Let's figure out the rest of the stuff later. But don't make that process difficult. because psychologically, and like this is studies show this just in marketing in general, that can actually limit your success in your website. Alrighty, two more. This is something that has always been true, but I would say in the last 3 to 5 years, we've really seen the importance and the emphasis on design just rise to in importance. So the sixth issue, the sixth thing that might be costing you clients is an outdated or a cluttered design, website design. When someone decides to seek out therapy, your potential client, the clients you love working with, like if you could just book more of them, your life would be amazing. Those clients are exposed to fantastic, high level, beautiful marketing everywhere they go. They are served Facebook ads and Instagram ads that lead them to vendors with stunning websites. The experience they have when they order coffee on their Starbucks app is really great. They don't realize this, but they go into seeking out therapy with pretty high standards. And those standards are getting ever higher. That's why design matters more and more and more. Because if I am used to just really beautiful, amazing website experiences, and then I land on your website that is hard to navigate, that is outdated, that is unprofessionally kind of designed and laid out, you haven't like this, I have this standard and this doesn't feel high, high end enough. On the flip side, if I have that really high standard and then I land on your website and it meets those standards, cool. All right, this feels like this is meeting the expectations that I didn't even know I had. Like we like to say, premium level websites attract premium fee clients. I recently did a post and sent out an email about what's called the halo effect. The halo effect is like, you all know what it's like to walk into maybe a boutique. You're like, strolling down like downtown Nashville, for instance, where I live. And you walk into a boutique and the lighting is beautiful and there are candles, burning and it smells great. And someone walks up to you with a glass of champagne and like, it's a vibe, it's an environment. The halo effect is actually a proven psychological kind of phenomenon that first impression I have of that boutique positively impacts the way that I view their brand as a whole because of that first impression. Oftentimes, your website is your client's first impression of you. So if they land on your website and it feels like the candles are burning and the vibe is great and the feel is very, very premium, guess what? I'm going to associate that with your practice as a whole. I'm going to read through your website with that effect already influencing me. On the flip side, if I land on your website and it just feels really generic or it feels outdated or it doesn't match, nothing's cohesive, it's hard to read, whatever, that's going to influence how I view your practice moving forward. And so the stakes are kind of higher than they've ever been because we have to rise to that standard as soon as we possibly can. And so that's why design is more important than it's ever been. And something that we do actually, we absolutely have to attend to. So outdated or cluttered design can absolutely lose out on clients because that halo effect is going to inform how those folks view you. You can be an incredible clinician. You probably are an incredible clinician, but if your website isn't offering that first positive impression, then it's an uphill battle from there. Alrighty, last tip. This is not about what happens on your website, but it is a huge website mistake. And it's the number one thing that I see a lot of clinicians forget. Everything that we've talked about here so far is about what's happening on your website, how it looks, how it's laid out, the experience, how clear it is, all those kinds of things. And all of those matter. All of those matter. But what a lot of clinicians do is they invest in all of those things and they think about all those things and they watch all the trainings and they buy the courses and they do the things to get their website up and going. And they're so proud of it. And it was such a labor of love. And then they sit there. Like Field of Dreams. My dad loved that movie growing up. They think it's this build it and they will come situation. And more, I would say even especially in the last year, 2023 was an interesting year for practice marketing. If you were in practice during that time, you experienced that in real time. Clinicians can and should expect to take a more active role in their marketing than they used to. It used to be 5, 6, 7 years ago, you create a website, you create a good Psych Today profile, and the clients show up. It was a beautiful time. We are not in those times anymore. And so the big mistake that I see clinicians make, then honestly, the number one that I see them make is they focus so much on creating their website that once that website is out there, they forget that their efforts need to shift now. They've created the website is set up for conversion. Now we've got to get eyeballs on it. And so the biggest mistake is not focusing on traffic to your website. Unfortunately, this is not a field of dreams situation. This is not a build it and they will come kind of thing. You've got to do all this right on your website. And then guess what? We got to get people to that website. And that's where the continued effort of your marketing is going to be for the rest of your career. Your website absolutely has the ability to pull its own weight in your marketing to generate referrals while you are busy doing other things, but it is only going to be as a result of your efforts to get traffic to that website. How you choose to do that is 100% up to you. You can invest in SEO, you can blog, you can network with other therapists, you can network with other professionals, you can network directly with clients in places like Facebook groups, you can be on social media, you can have a podcast. The options are endless, but we've got to get people to the site. If you are not currently regularly thinking about that activity in your marketing, especially if you like have listened to this training, you're like, I think I do that, I think I do that, I think I do that. I can, with a high level of confidence, say one of the biggest issues with your marketing probably is that you're not focused on getting people to that website. So that's the huge thing that I see folks missing out on. And so please know that if right now your website isn't meeting the mark and you are not getting regular conversions through your website, then chances are something needs to be changed on it. But after that and ongoing, you need to be focused on getting people to it. Otherwise, it is just this beautiful, effective, kind of thing just sitting there out on the internet if people aren't getting to it, if the right people aren't getting to it. So that's the biggest mistake I see folks make is that they don't focus on traffic. They focus on building the website and then they think the work is done. We saw last year that the work isn't done, the work just needs to shift to getting traffic to that website. And again, how you do that is 100% up to you, but that has got to be the new priority after getting your website in tip-top shape. Now, if you need help getting a website in tip-top shape, guess what? Lots of ways that we can help. I think I've referenced most of them here throughout this training. We have the Fill Your Practice Formula, which is our DIY course, Confident Copy, which is our marketing mentorship. It includes weekly live coaching for 16 weeks. Both of those are based on the strategic framework for websites that we continue to see work for clinicians. If it's more the design and the build side of things, our website templates, our Squarespace website templates are incredibly popular and easy to use. We have free template support built in there. So if you're looking for resources around these types of things, please know that they're available to you. And we're also going to be running a birthday sale a week from Tuesday. It'll start the 16th of April. We're celebrating 5 years of Walker Strategy Co. Absolutely wild, half a decade. So if you're interested in any of those, at Fill Your Practice Formula, Confident Copy, our templates are all going to be included there. But don't stay stuck. Whatever it is that you need help with, and maybe you just need to watch some more of these free trainings, please browse through here. Whatever you need to be successful and to make sure that you're not making these mistakes, the better served you're going to be in your marketing as a whole. All right, I didn't see any other questions come in, but hopefully that's because this all made perfect sense and you're feeling great about it. Since comments are sometimes a little bit delayed, I'll hang out here for a moment, but I hope that this was helpful for you. Like I said, if you're watching the replay, just hit a hashtag replay and your question, that'll pop it back up into my feed and my notifications. But I hope this was helpful for you. And if you're doing all of these things and you're not getting clients, it might be a traffic thing. It might be a traffic thing. So keep all of those things in mind. Alrighty, not seeing any other questions for right now, which is wonderful. If you've got them, I'm still here. I'll be around. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful weekend. We'll see you coming up here for our birthday sale, and I'll talk to you soon.